Ken.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Wow, you're founder and president of the Automotive
Yeah.
Fine Arts
I
Society?
was one of 6 artists that founded the Automotive Fine Arts Society in 1983, and I was the first president, and I've been president ever since. So that was,
They must like the job you're doing, I guess. Huh?
hopefully that's it, and that nobody else wanted the job.
You were one of the original artists that started doing Concord poster art too, weren't you?
Well, I mean, I can't really say I was one of the originals. Concourse used artists before I did my first poster. I remember Walter Gotchke did the first poster for Meadowbrook. Pebble Beach had a whole series of posters before I did my first one in '86. But myself and our group, AFAS, basically are the first modern automotive artists that actually are automotive artists that specialize in just automotive subject. So I was probably the first of that group, and the first poster I did was for Meadowbrook, because that was 1983.
Wow.
Then 85 was CA in Fallbrook, California. If you do that, you get to come to the show, and you're guaranteed that you have made some money, which helps.
Yeah.
But and it's also challenging because they set some parameters, commissions. That is basically a commission. I find challenging because you might not be paying something you normally would do, and it's a challenge to do a good job on that. So I like that.
Yeah. Well, and you've helped steer all the other artists toward profitability, I would guess.
I tried to do it with our society was to make art collectors, art gallery owners, art critics accept automotive subject of automotive art as legitimate fine art. Because it used to be thought of as commercial illustration, because most of the automotive art done was done for brochures and ads in magazines to sell cars. So everybody thought of it as commercial illustration when they saw a car. It didn't matter if it was being done as fine art, they still considered it commercial illustration. And what we were trying to get across to everybody is that there's nothing wrong with the automobile using as a subject of fine art. And that's what we strive for at the very beginning. Also, we're a social group, and at first it was difficult to get jobs, and so if one of us had a job that he thought the other guy could do better, maybe one guy was better at people, or one guy was better at sort of like a round table, like maybe the Chamber of Commerce or the Kiwanis Club, where we help each other business-wise. And then there's always the creative competition. When we go to a show, we're always excited to see what everybody else has done.
Sure.
So it keeps your competitive, creative juices going when you're getting ready for the shows. That's a plus.
What gets you excited to paint something else? How do you?
Well, I mean, there's always cars that you love. I mean, most of us, especially myself, I mean, I've been a car nut since I was probably 5 years old. But coming to a show like this, I mean, you go out to the auction and see some really wild cars. The Concours itself, walking the car field, you're going to see something that's inspiring. So I take pictures. I take pictures of cars wherever I see them, and I have a file of all these pictures. And when I go to do a painting, I try to fit the car that fits the scene I'm going to do. It becomes a narrative part of it, whether it's visually or actually historically or descriptively.
Well, you're known for your scenes as much as the
Sure.
car itself.
I like to have a story. Not all of them. Mm-hmm. Some of them might be a simple story, but some of them are more complex. But I like the narrative part of it. So it's a scene that you can walk into. But occasionally I'll do like the Hootie's piece up here. It's a story. It's a short story. And one of the features of hot rod shows were bathing beauties.
Yes.
And they would sign posters. They had posters that they'd sell and they'd sign it. The guys would line up for a picture. So that's how that came about.
That's fantastic. Thanks, kid.
You're welcome.